today I'm going to talk about what to do if you fall off the wagon. It's probably happened to, I would say, 98% of us, 98% of the people watching this. It has happened to me many times. If you didn't already know, I struggled with binge eating for quite a while. It was a really dark season. Ironically, it was after I had been treated against my will in an eating disorder unit. My problems do not stem from an eating disorder, but being treated in that unit, being brainwashed, and getting to the point where I was so desperate to gain weight because I lost my friends, I lost my family, I lost my job, lost the engagement. I realized that I was gonna have to gain weight to get my life back, and I couldn't gain weight to save my life. I had a chronic C. diff infection, which was literally depleting me of all my nutrients. I had diarrhea all the time. It was horrible. So in that season, I actually started binging, and it was not in a way that you might imagine. It wasn't impulsive. It was more so very thought out. It was, I'm gonna have to do this. So I would literally set up blankets or towels on my couch, set up napkins and drinks, and get all the keto treats that I wanted. And you know, things like bison burgers, just things that I enjoyed eating. And I would literally sit down and try to eat as much as possible, and to keep it down was my goal. At this time I was having, this is actually when I noticed, during the binging, this is when I noticed the ulcerative colitis for the first time. I started throwing up involuntarily, and there was blood in my stools, and that persisted even when I stopped the binging. I say all that to say that I've really struggled with getting back on the wagon after doing something stupid, because eventually I was reaching for the crappy keto treats that are laden with chemicals and seed oils even, and it was just really bad. So number one, just get back on the wagon. Stop overthinking it. You don't have to fast for 48 hours. You don't have to fast for 24 hours. You don't even have to fast for 12 hours. If you're hungry, then eat, but eat the right thing. 2, draw a bigger emphasis on electrolytes, minerals, and sleep. So these are things that are going to support your fat adaptation, your stable blood sugars, your cravings, your insulin sensitivity. You definitely need adequate electrolytes, you need minerals, and you need adequate sleep, all for insulin sensitivity, which plays greatly into, you know, cravings. If you're not insulin sensitive, then your blood sugar is more likely to be going up and down, up and down. And every time it goes down, that gives you false hunger. When your insulin is plummeting, or your blood sugar is plummeting, because of insulin, that gives us a sense of hunger, even when we're not hungry. And so a very huge key to sustainable weight loss and no cravings is a blood sugar that goes like this. Seriously, it's huge. And that's why not eating carbs makes it a lot easier for a lot of people. That's one of the many reasons why carbs can make things complicated. Your electrolytes, your minerals, your sleep, don't just get back to those normally. I want you to put extra emphasis on them, because some people fall off the wagon for one day. Some people fall off the wagon for 1 week. Some people fall off the wagon for 8 months. And so depending on how long it's been that you've been running on glucose instead of fat, you really might need to go through the transition process again. And that doesn't just mean eating the good foods again, it means supporting your body, enabling your body to adapt properly. And so that means you're gonna have to raise your electrolytes, and that is not a long-term thing. A lot of people just need to raise them a lot in the beginning. It's more of a transitory thing. I personally keep my electrolytes high to feel optimal. However, I do CrossFit. I've always craved salt. My adrenals need salt. I'm a salt spiller, as Ken Berry says. So typically someone on a low carb diet needs between 2 and 5 grams of sodium per day. I feel optimal at 10 grams of sodium per day. I would say most of my clients, regardless of their weight, tend to do well around 5 grams. And that's just something I've picked up. And so really actually dial in and make sure you're getting enough. If you're taking Element or Redmond Relight, 1 scoop or 1 packet is close to 1 gram of sodium, which is 1,000 milligrams. Redmond Relight now is 800 milligrams, so it's not quite 1 whole gram of sodium. So like seriously, make sure that you are on top of that, because it will either make it or break it for you. Minerals, OxyTrace minerals are a great thing to supplement, not only when you binge, but just in regular day life. So every time we sweat, potassium, sodium, and magnesium are depleted, and we have to replenish those. And so if you're just using salt, that works for a lot of people, but for those of you who are outside in the hot sun or you sweat heavily in a sauna, I think it would be worth it to try a pre-formulated electrolyte powder that has higher amounts of potassium and magnesium and things like that. That way it's going to be balanced with the sodium, but you're going to get more than just taking sodium by itself. And a lot of people can do well with the Sole water, S-O-L-E. Sole water is literally just a bunch of salt in a mason jar in water until it stops dissolving. So that means that water is extremely saturated. And so you can take a teaspoon, up to 3 teaspoons, or even more of that in your regular water throughout the day. You're not going to drink it straight. That would be very disgusting and give you diarrhea. So yeah, those things are really important. Sleep is huge. If you need to give yourself an extra 2 hours to sleep, go to bed earlier, that's pretty normal, especially if you're back in the transitory phase. Your body is going to be dealing with higher cortisol, higher adrenaline, trying to switch from glucose burning to fat burning. So more sleep. You'll probably very likely be feeling the effects of the foods that you've been eating. If you've been eating seed oils or a lot of sugar, you might be feeling the pain in your body, the inflammation. You might have headaches, you might have joint pain, your mood disorders may be coming back, your central nervous system is probably not feeling as supported. And so that's another reason to get more sleep. Sleep is so important. So many awesome things happen when we sleep. Exercise. Don't beat yourself up in the gym. Do not allow yourself to try to get back to where you were faster by doing a really heavy, ridiculous gym session that you never would have done before. If you're the type of person who likes to lift heavy, then go back at it. But if you're the type of person who never lifts heavy and you don't ever push yourself like that, then don't go do it after a binge, because immediately you are turning working out into punishment. And same thing with fasting. Don't go into a 24-hour fast. You're turning it into punishment. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think that actually dealing with the consequences of your binge instead of trying to undo them by fasting or over-exercising, that's not healthy. What would be healthy is allowing yourself to deal with the consequences and practice patience. You know, maybe it'll take you a week or 2 weeks to get back to feeling how you did before. And I think that's necessary. I think that you should actually feel it out and feel how long it takes for your body to get back to feeling pretty good. Then you're going to remember, okay, I really don't want to eat those foods. But if you get in the cycle of, okay, I'm going to binge and then I'm going to fast for 48 hours and it'll all be undone. First of all, that's not true. Seed oils have a half-life of 680 days, which is up to 2 years. Anthony Chaffee actually recently said that they have a half-life of up to 4 years, which I had never heard before. So whether it's 2 or 4 years, that's a long time for those things to be residing in your body and your brain, causing some level of inflammation. So fasting can help, definitely help to bring your blood sugar down, get your insulin low again, induce autophagy, which is going to induce healing and recycling of damaged proteins in your body, but you cannot undo it all. You have to walk through the consequences. Don't beat yourself up. Mentally, don't beat yourself up. Be above it. Learn the lesson. Sit down and get uncomfortable with the fact that you don't have a lot of control over your decisions with food. Get comfortable with that and then make better decisions moving forward. Realize, okay, you know what? I don't have sober behavior around these foods. I definitely am weaker when I go on vacation with my friends who eat differently. I seem to really always give in when I go out at night and everyone's drinking alcohol. Like, you need to observe these things and do something about it. And that can be really difficult, especially when it comes to your social life or even your family, and they eat differently and they don't understand why you eat the way that you do. There has to be balance. I promise you, I work with people heavily on this topic because it's a very serious topic. And so give yourself grace, first of all. Don't beat yourself up, and either get help or take the steps to be responsible moving forward. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I just wanted to make a short video. There are, I'm sure, other little things that someone could do. You know, you could journal about it, journal about your experience. I used to write notes to myself after I would binge. I used to have a little notebook in my bedside table that I would write in after a binge and basically just write down why I regretted it and reasons to not do it. And just reminders to myself that, like, this isn't going to help long term. This is not working. This is hurting me mentally, emotionally, and physically. and it just wasn't good. And so if you need to journal, if that's actually a really good way to get things into your memory, and talking with someone about it is so helpful. Getting it into the light. I think that a lot of us understand what I'm talking about there. Whatever it is, if it's a bad habit, something you're hiding, something you need to repent or confess about, something that needs to change, something that is scary for you, get it into the light. It doesn't have to be a whole church congregation. It can just be confiding in one person who you trust. Get some accountability. Hire a coach. I would love to work with you. I am on call for my clients, so I'm not just there 1 hour a week. I'm there all the time. You can text me anytime. We can hop on the phone and pray about it. We're going to work through those situations where you're tempted. Have someone like that in your life. That's really, really going to help. Go for walks. Distract yourself. If you know that you always want to eat something sweet after a meal or go start binging after a meal on junk food, then go for a walk. I would go for 10-minute walks after every single meal, and I still do that, except for when it's really hot outside. But if it's really hot outside, I'll just go run errands. I'll go to the grocery store. And I don't do that now because I'm tempted to binge. I just do it because I know that movement after a meal really helps with digestion and insulin sensitivity and stabilizing your blood sugars. That is proven. Those are all things that I hope that helps some of you out there. If you have tips and tricks that you know of, that you've used, that have been helpful for you, leave it down below. I would love to see. And you can just contribute to each other and everyone who watches this video in the future. Have a great day. Hi, you guys. So my fall retreat is more than halfway booked. I know that you guys may have already heard of it. We're going to have a dream team of special guests. We have Ken Berry, Maria Emmerich, Kelly Hogan, Nisha Berry, and Lisa Wiedemann. So we're all going to be together. This is going to be invaluable fellowship, breakthroughs, learning, eating the highest quality, best, most delicious meats like Billy Doe meats, North Star bison. I'm going to be making my carnivore treats, carnivore brownies, carnivore carrot cake, carnivore ice cream. And then of course we'll have Maria with us, so she's going to do some cooking with us. It's going to be so awesome. For those of you who don't do sweeteners, we will be with Emily Harveau and Kelly Hogan as well. They don't do sweeteners. Lisa doesn't do sweeteners, so we're going to have options for everyone. It's just going to be absolutely incredible. So we're in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, October 11th through 16th. This is when the fall colors are peaking. The weather is phenomenal. If you're interested, please email me directly at rebecca@tailoredketo.health. I'll send you the information. I'll send you an invoice when you're ready to pay. The only way to reserve your spot is with payment, and then you'll be locked in. I hope to see you there.